Welcome to the Arkansas Cattle Business Podcast, brought to you by the Arkansas Cattlemen's Association. Here, we dive into the heart of Arkansas's cattle industry, where legislation, education, advocacy, and development come together to support the hardworking cattle producers of the natural state. Whether you're in the pasture or on the road, this is your connection to the people, policies, and programs shaping the future of our industry. Hello, and welcome to this episode of the Arkansas Cattle Business Podcast. We're excited to have y'all here.
Yeah, it may look a little different today. You're thinking, where the heck are we? We're at the Area 5 conference. So we're at the Drew County Fairgrounds today, and this is the stage. So we didn't really have enough time to record anything this week. We had 3 area conferences, and we've been trying to record on Thursday afternoons, and we're here on a Thursday afternoon at the area conference. So welcome.
Yeah, so we're going to try this out for sure. So coming at you live, not really, because this will be recording, but still, we are here at the county fairgrounds. So we're going to try it out and see what happens. We're excited. These have been really good. We've got 2 area conferences left, which we'll talk about here later on, but we are very excited about these events. And so this is where the panel actually will be taking place this evening.
Yep.
So I feel very patriotic.
Yeah, there's a lot of red, white, and blue, but a lot of our vendors are filing in. That's why there might be a lot of background noise, but we're here. We're happy to be here. Yeah.
And I will go ahead. I know I said last week, if you listened, that I was feeling a little under the weather. I felt like my throat was scratching. I felt a little stuffed up. It's like I can read my body because I ended up getting a sinus infection. So I went to the doctor. I'm on medicine for it, starting to feel a little better, but I'm still pretty stuffy and pretty stopped up. So if you hear me coughing or taking a drink of my water or Sprite, sorry, I'm doing what I can.
The pollen and the dust and the smoke and stuff aren't helping.
No, not at all. No. I get 1 sinus infection a year, and it's just very ill-timed this year.
Yeah.
Had to be the week we had 3 of these 3 area conferences, so it's fine. We're gonna hop right in because we got a limited time frame and quite a bit to discuss. So we're gonna talk about Hats on the Hill.
Hats on the Hill. Let's go.
Yeah. So for the first time, I don't think we're gonna have a 45-minute segment of Michelle just telling you every single thing at the Capitol this week. We talked about it last week, where the legislature has been in a hurry up and wait pattern, especially on the ag side of things. That continues to be the case. The legislature goes into recess next week. They'll have spring break next week, and so they will not hear bills. They will not be in session. They will not be meeting. Does not mean work will not be happening. It just won't be happening on the Hill. And so they were trying to get a lot of things done this week, and so I do want to point that out. While I'll say, there's not a huge update this week, it is not because they weren't meeting. It's not because things aren't getting done. It's because they're having good debate and discussion about the bills that are being introduced and trying to make positive change on some of those bills. So prime example, this is recorded on Thursday. Thursday morning, the Ag Committee gavelled in at around 10, and they gavelled out at 1:16 or 1:22, I believe, actually. And Senate goes into session at 1:30, and so the reason they stopped was because they had to. They cannot be in a committee meeting when session starts, and so they had to gavel out. And so, they're meeting, they're having discussions. There's just a lot of debate and discussion, as I believe there should be, before any laws get made. And so both Senate and House Ag met this week. They had huge agendas on both sides. House Ag made their way through quite a lengthy agenda and had a lot of discussion and debate. Couple of bills that we'll keep an eye on that we don't necessarily have policy on, but we were looking at a lot of the bills we talked about last week from Representative Woolridge of just cleanup bills for the Department of Agriculture. Representative Vaught had a bill that was going to prevent foreign party-controlled businesses from leasing land. And so that one got pulled down for an amendment. She's going to work on it to make sure that it protects people that have dual citizenships here in the United States and in other countries, but we are keeping an eye on that. We don't necessarily have policy, but just wanted to kind of keep a lookout there. There were quite a few bills there in the House side that were just the cleanup bills through the department from transformation and transition and things. It has been rumored that week after spring break, Representative Kavanaugh will bring back her burn bill, and we'll discuss that. But there's been quite a few changes, quite a few amendments to that from when we first saw it, I think probably in the first episode of this. And so we'll see that on the House side. On the Senate side this week, they had quite a crowd. The Senate Ag meeting today, they were talking about hemp. They talked about oil and gas, petroleum contracts. They talked about fair funding. They talked about a lot of different things, and there was still, again, a lot of debate, a lot of discussion on those bills, and then had a couple of them pass out of committee, but none of them that were truly applicable to the Cattlemen's. On the fair funding, SB 400, Senator Irvin, we discussed that one last week, but that bill is an attempt to clarify what is required for fairs to be able to receive funding from the Department of Agriculture, but essentially from the state of Arkansas. And so what they are looking at, and some of the discussion that was had today before it was pulled down, was to clarify the continuing education portion of that. Everybody was fine with the rules of being audited and submitting forms and doing all of that with the Department of Agriculture. They just wanted to make sure on the continuing education, it was a lot of the conversations. So if you're curious about it, you can go back and watch the video from Thursday, March 20th, and you can find that in there. It'll be Senate Bill 400. Quick update on Senate Bill 290 on the moratorium bill. That was Senator Blake Johnson's bill. He is working on an amendment for that bill before it will be brought forth before the Ag Committee again. And so again, that's the moratoriums and the permitting authority from a state agency versus the legislature. And so we'll see that bill come back up after spring break. And then as a reminder for everybody, in theory, they're going to be trying to be done the legislative session on like April 18th. So a month from now. They're going to try to wrap up legislative session, which means they will eventually stop hearing bills that did not originate from the opposite chamber. So Senate will quit hearing Senate bills. They'll only hear House bills, and then House will do the same on the Senate side to make sure that they can concur those bills and get them done. And then finally, they'll address the RSA, which is the state budget. And so they'll go through that on all of it in a few weeks' time span. So if they aim to get out of there April 18th, it will be hitting the ground running the week after spring break. So we'll keep y'all updated on what's happening on that front. So with that, I mean, that's your quick, easy, hopefully, Hats on the Hill update for this week. And again, I did just want to highlight, like we've talked about a lot of, they're not, like, oh, we don't have a lot to discuss. There's not a lot of movement. That does not mean they're not meeting. I know Senate Health was meeting until about 10 o'clock Wednesday night. And then Agriculture Committee met for 3 hours today. And so there's a lot of people and a lot of work and discussion getting done, just a lot of debate happening and improvements and amendments of bills before they get filed or before they go to the floors. So with that is I'm impressed I was able to get all that out.
That was pretty good.
Not without coughing or having to like stop and like, oh, hold on.
Yeah, but a lot of things happened this week. I know, man, our hearts are out with the tornado victims that got hit last Friday. That was tough to watch. I know it got close to a lot of people. We were watching the news pretty tight, so.
Yeah, we were in Batesville and Paragould this week for area conferences, and they had quite a bit of damage up those ways for sure. And I mean, we drove past some of it, and it was just heartbreaking to see. We know, and I'm not surprised. I started getting text messages Friday night, Saturday morning, following the storm of people are like, hey, like, I'm going to take my skid steer out and I'm going to help clean up. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Like, let us know if anybody reaches out to you and needs something. Like, that's what I love about cattle. Mm-hmm. That's what I love about cattle producers is it's neighbors turn out for each other, for sure. And while we hate the need for it, it's nice to be able to see.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yep. I know it was crazy. We drove through Newport to go to Batesville from Paragould, and there was, 10 twisted in trees. It was,
There's a house in the middle of the road.
It was, and literally. I know people lost livestock, and that's just, we hate it. We hate it, and we know we can't really help.
Yep. And so, our hearts are with y'all. We are working on, we do have the Arkansas Cattlemen's Disaster Relief Fund Excuse
Mind
us.
that.
Yeah, mind us as we close the roll-up door because it feels like Oklahoma outside or Lubbock, Texas, either way. So we're trying to get some wind flow out of here. But we do have the Cattlemen's Disaster Relief Fund. It is a 501c3. We are working on finding a way to start. We can accept money anytime to that. If anybody wants to write a check to help out their fellow Arkansan that has been hit, more than welcome to. Just make it out the Cattlemen's Disaster, or make it out to the Cattlemen's. Put in the memo line. It's for the Disaster Relief Fund. It is tax deductible. We'll be working on how to disperse those funds as we go forward. I do also know Independence County's Extension Office has planned a donation drive and has that information on their website and on their social media, making it very easy for people to donate items, donate money, and work with them. And so if you have, I know money's tight everywhere, but if you've got T-posts laying around, work gloves, barbed wire, all of these things have been requested as people are just trying to rebuild fence and trying to rebuild their lives.
Yep.
And so it is rough. I will remind people there was a state of emergency declared, and so we do have the eligibility for certain counties for ECP, so in program funding. And so if you were hit by the tornado, unfortunately, you do need to reach out to your state FSA office and report the damage, and they will get with you on availability and funding and programming, things like that. And I will also remind you the ECP money is exempt from Arkansas state taxes because of legislation from the Cattlemen's. And so if you do receive that money, keep records of it, obviously, always, but keep records of that, and when you do your taxes next year, just be prepared. We'll have the code ready for you if anybody pushes back or has questions. So, it's our hearts hurt for y'all. Like, we know, we live in the South, this is part of it, but dang, it is a rough time for sure for people. And I'm sure, and then on top of that, we had tornadoes on Friday, and daggum, now there were 98 wildfires yesterday on Wednesday in the state of Arkansas. And so we did want to talk about the burn bans a little bit and the conditions out there. And so I'll let Norley kind of highlight how much of the state is under a burn ban, or just really kind of discuss the reasoning there.
Most of the state. I know, yeah. Like, is that all red?
Yep.
Yeah. If y'all can see that, that's all red. So,
but we'll link it in the show notes for sure.
So most of the states under a burn ban. I know a lot of people are trying to get out and burn right now for hay and stuff. I know my grandparents they got out last week and burned. But
yeah, he wanted to burn this week, and I was like, hey guys, like White County went under a burn ban today.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, and so, I mean, on that front, the conditions are just right. It is super windy outside. It is dry. It is, the humidity is low. So it's the perfect storm right now for wildfires. I know even Little Rock City has had a few, and so structure fires and things like that. And so, I mean, it's all across the state. So please be mindful. If you obviously don't burn. That's the easiest thing. But if something happens and a fire does occur, reach out, let people know. It's rough out there. I mean, I would say 90% of the state is under a burn ban, but the entire state is at a high to extreme risk of wildfires right now. And so if you're ever curious, if your county is under a burn ban, your county judge has that info, but it's also available through the Department of Agriculture, through the Forestry Commission there for you. And so it's a big piece of it. Next, we'll highlight our membership.
Yeah. So our membership cards hit mailboxes last week, and we've gotten a lot of memberships this week. I know we had area conferences Monday and Tuesday, and then I sat in my office all day Wednesday and put in memberships, and then I put in memberships this morning before we left. So getting a lot of those in. If there's any problem, if you've paid in 2 counties in the past, don't worry. Like, our database is old. It probably pulled your name twice. If you know you've already paid, just call me and verify, and I can be like, if you need to just throw it in the trash, throw it in the trash. If you don't need to pay, you don't need to pay twice. So.
Yep. Yeah. Again, I mean, there's multiple ways to pay. You can return that card into the state office with a check with your credit card info. You can call the office, pay us via credit card, or you can pay online. It has a little QR code in that letter for you. We are really grateful. We're excited about the membership numbers so far. We're almost halfway through membership drive, and we're halfway. Of our numbers from last year. I
think we've got 51% already. So
I think so. And so we're headed in the right direction. But again, I mean, what we do at the Cattlemen's and what we do at the Capitol and these area conferences, all of it. None of this would be possible without y'all, without our members, and so we're grateful for it. And just as a reminder, if y'all have not paid your membership by the end of this month, so I would say by like March 27th, if you haven't paid your membership by then, you will get cut off from the magazine, and so we do end benefits there. And so making sure that you get that done and get that paid so you can keep receiving our lovely, wonderful magazine. I do want to highlight the accidental death and dismemberment policy. We talked about it previously, but reminding people that how to activate that and what they need to do, for sure.
Yeah, so you can activate that through Lisa Driggers. She's our Globe Life representative. You can just call us for her number. There's an application you have to fill out to activate that. But yeah, her number is 501-620-3599 to get a hold of her and just activate your policy and just say, hey, member of Cattlemen's, and she'll get you set up.
Yep. And you may have to call her and leave a voicemail. We are when we send out membership cards, which we will be doing
very soon.
Yeah, in the next week or two. We will be including a mailing for her, a little piece of paper for her, in that membership card mail out that will be going, and so it'll have her information on there as well. While we hope nobody ever needs that policy, obviously it is a very nice benefit of the Cattlemen's, but it is something that has to be set up with Lisa before then, and so that's a big piece. And then, like I mentioned, just you may have to call her multiple times as we mail this card out. She's going to get inundated, we hope, with people that are activating that policy. And so just call, leave a message, let her know your name and your county with the Cattlemen's, and she'll get back to you, I promise. It may take a couple of days for her. I mean, she is literally one of the reasons we chose this insurance company is because it is an Arkansas insurance company, or it's an Arkansas affiliate with an insurance company, and it is ran by Lisa is a cattle producer herself and a member of the Cattlemen's. And so we like to support our own where we can, for sure. And so just be patient, give her a little grace, give her a little time. She will get back to you as long as you leave a message. Mm-hmm. You do have to leave a message for her to be able to follow up with you and make sure it's not just somebody random spam call from her. So leave a message, reach out to her, and activate that policy for sure. Next, I do want to just remind people about our recruiter rewards. We'll have them next week. And so hopefully, but maybe not, but we'll at least have something for y'all to see next week. But I do want to remind people about those because that's something new, and I feel like we just haven't talked about it that much.
Yeah, so our recruiter rewards is new this year. If you recruit just one person, you get an ACA logo for the back of your car or anywhere. Those are a little smaller than the last ones we printed, so we're excited about that.
A little easier to fit on your vehicle.
Yes, so it doesn't take up the whole back glass. And then if you recruit 5 members, you get leather gloves that have our logo on them. We're really excited about that. And then if you recruit 10 members, then you get an ACA metal license plate that goes on the front of your vehicle. So really excited about that. Those haven't come to the office yet, but we have the stickers and the gloves. So.
And we'll be mailing those out in the next couple of weeks as well, as soon as we get done with area conferences, which we've got 2 more next week.
Just 2.
Hot Springs and Conway. We'll hope to see you there, but we've got 2 more next week. And then we'll be hopefully back in the office for a little bit, get our feet back under us, and we will start mailing out those recruiter rewards on a much more timely basis. But we'll get them out for sure in the next couple of weeks. And so, sorry, excuse me earlier, I was like over coughing up a lung, it feels like. But I always wanted to highlight that and remind people of it, because a lot of times people say like, oh, I can't recruit 15 new members for a top hand buckle or 30 renewed. Like, that's a lot. And it is. I get it. It's a lot. But you can recruit 1 member, and 1 member makes a difference.
It does.
Especially if you think about it. If everybody recruited 1 member, I mean, we just doubled in size. And so if everybody can go out and recruit members, that's where this recruitment rewards program came from, is that, hey, every little bit helps and every little bit matters. So even if it's 1 member, if it's 5 members, if it's 10 members, we still want to be able to show y'all our thanks for that and appreciation for it, even if it's not going to be the 15 or the 30 or the Century Club of over 100 members recruited. Because you don't have to do all of that to make a difference. While we do appreciate it, and we do obviously love those that go above and beyond, we're grateful for the ones that even just got and recruit 1 member.
Yeah, and they can be new or renewal, just a member, just a person.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Yeah. Make sure they just put your name on that recruited by line, and we'll get it going. I'm trying to think what else we have. This is an ad-lib episode.
Oh yeah, we didn't even plan this. We're like, okay, we need to record this.
Yeah. If we're being
here.
honest, Michelle just doesn't think, I don't think I can make it tomorrow if I have to do all of this again. I don't know that my voice will make it. So we're going to power through. I think the last things that I really kind of want to talk about is, like, we had our 3 area conferences this week. What's been your favorite part of the producer panels for these? That's been something very different. Mm-hmm. And so what do you think you've enjoyed from that the most?
Each one is different, I mean, everybody has their own experience, and each person's different, so getting to hear other people's experiences has really been unique in what they do. And I know Mr. John McKnight, he was on, which I've known him my whole entire life, and he was on the panel and got to speak, and that was cool.
Yeah, and I mean, it doesn't surprise me, but I love and always kind of laugh at how humble these people are. I mean,
yeah.
John McKnight was like, well, I don't know that I know enough. I'm like,
We're
John,
like, John
McKnight, you have forgotten more than most people know about agriculture.
Yes.
And so it's absolutely insane to me to hear that. I mean, I know cattle producers are humble. They don't like talking about themselves. And it can be scary to get up in front of 300-something people and share your story. And so I'm really grateful for everyone that has been serving on the panels, really grateful for them for sharing that expertise and that experience. And I mean, I've just enjoyed being able, like Norley said, being able to hear their experience, but also just being able to for them, you can almost see like a light bulb moment when they're like, oh wait, like that guy thinks something different than I do, or like had something different to say there. And so like maybe I do have something worth of value to share. Like, yeah, that's why we asked you. I mean, everybody that's been on these panels has been absolutely wonderful. So we're really grateful for it. Again, grateful to our sponsors for making that possible. We normally have a paid sponsorship speaker at the area conferences, and this year we wanted to shake it up and did a little different sponsorship that allowed us to have these panels. So it was brought to us by Farm Credit and by the Cattlemen's Education Series grant from the National Cattlemen's Beef Association and the National Corn Growers Association. So very grateful to both of those organizations for helping us put together these panels and make these area conferences possible. I mean, we've had outstanding vendor turnout, member turnout. Everybody has been so excited to get out and get to see all the pieces. And so good to see people.
We're in Area 5, and this one's supposed to be the biggest one they've had yet.
Yeah,
so.
This will be the biggest. If everyone shows up at RSUP, this will be the biggest conference for Area 5 that we've ever had. And so that's very exciting to see the buy-in and the excitement about Cattlemen's. And especially in an area that stereotypically everyone always says is not cattle-centric. And so we know that there are people all across the state that are raising cattle, and we want to be able to hang out with them and cook a steak and eat a steak dinner and give them an update.
Yep.
Lastly, again, ad-lib, so like we're just making this up as we go. Today, the day we're recording this, Thursday, March the 20th, is the first day of spring. You don't want to ask me what I'm excited about for spring because I'm dying with spring. Like spring is winning right now. But what are you looking forward to most this spring?
The warm weather, all the flowers, all the blooms, turkey season.
Oh, okay. Getting to ride your horse a little bit more.
Oh yeah. Getting outside because I know my dad. He's been listening to turkeys every morning. I have to get up for work, and I'm like, God.
So what you're telling me is that during turkey season, you may not be here every day.
You may not see me much. Just saying.
That's fine. You've probably earned a vacation day or two. So. That's exciting. I agree. I'm excited to be able to get outside. I never think about it during the winter, but I'm like, I haven't seen the sun.
It's nice not going home in the dark, I will say. Very nice.
Very nice not going home in the dark, but it's also nice to just be able to I can sit outside and just be a plant. I don't know, just absorb the sunlight. I haven't seen the sunshine. And so it is very nice on that front. While it'll be greater when I can breathe and not be attacked by pollen and everything. Really looking forward to that point. You always take for granted being able to breathe through your nose until you can't.
You can't.
So that's going to be a nice change in hopefully a couple of days. But yeah, and then after that, I mean, we're still hitting the ground running. I mean, yeah, I say we'll slow down after area conferences, but we'll gear up getting ready for convention. Next week week after next, we'll be at the Women in Ag conference, and so we hope to see some of y'all there. We'll have a booth there as well for us, and so we'll be busy no matter the season. It just maybe we're not traveling the entire state. We're doing area conferences, but we will start hitting county meetings again. So if you have not seen us at your county meeting, let us know. We'd love to be. I think we've got 4 or 5 counties left that we haven't scheduled or haven't visited. So we'd love to get those on the books.
Yep.
So with that, anything else?
Our raffle for our hay trailer. Since we have 2 area conferences left, tickets are available. Call us. We'd love to give you more information about it. It's $50 a ticket, and it's a 32-foot Go Bob trailer. So it's at area conference. Justin Smith, our vice president, he drives it everywhere. And so, yeah. You can buy however many tickets you want, and it's $50 a pop.
Yep, they're $50. Just call the office, 501-224-2114. We will put your number down, or put the number of tickets down. We can take a credit card information over the phone if you're not at one of the last 2 area conferences, or you can mail a check. And we'll make sure we'll put it in there. We will be drawing it on Tuesday at the Conway area conference, and so make sure that you call us before then, and we can
make less than a week.
Yeah, few days at this point, and so make sure you call us so we can get your name on that. Like Norley said, the tickets are $50. Money goes to our database this year, so we're hoping to upgrade and improve our database, which is from the 1990s.
Like I said earlier, like if you got another membership, that's why our database is outdated. So hopefully if we get a new one, that'll eliminate all that.
Yeah, and so what she means by that is, like, prime example, like I used to live in Faulkner County, or I used to live in Benton County, and so
now you live in Faulkner.
Yeah, now I live in Faulkner County, and so like I technically get an unpaid, even though I've already paid in Faulkner County, like I will still receive a renewal from Benton County because our database cannot fathom that I moved. And so it's just not quite there. So we're going to be trying to hopefully raise some money to upgrade that. And so we'll be having those tickets for 4 or 5 more days, depending on when you listen. And so we encourage you to call us and purchase one of those.
Yep.
But other than that, let's hit them with where to follow us and how to find us. And we'll roll out of here and kick off the area conference.
Yeah. So follow us on Facebook and Instagram. You can find us or subscribe to us on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Music, Amazon Music, all the things.
iHeartRadio, anywhere you find podcasts. We try to make it easy.
Yeah. So
we appreciate it.
Well, we better get off here because people are filing in.
People are getting here.
Yep.
So we're excited to share. And excited to see everybody. We've really appreciated y'all being at area conferences. So thanks for coming out and joining us. We've had wonderful attendance at all of them. So thanks for coming out. And if you haven't come to if you're one of Hot Springs or Conway next week, we hope to see you.
Yep.
Thank y'all.
See y'all later. This is the Arkansas Cattle Business Podcast, your trusted source for all things cattle in the natural state.